Donald Trump is extremely happy with his attacks on the NFL because he's appealing directly to his core group of supporters, white Americans. He pretty much said that the other night when he met with grassroots conservative activists at the White House, where he said this is getting lots of attention. Because if you notice, he spent more time ridiculing NFL players over the flag and protests than Puerto Rico, than health care, than any other issue. Even yesterday, at a news conference with Spain's prime minister, Trump went after the 200 NFL players who took a knee during the national anthem before Sunday's game, calls it disgraceful. Here's what he said.
To me, the NFL situation is a very important situation. I've heard that before about was I preoccupied? Not at all. Not at all. I have plenty of time on my hands. All I do is work. And to be honest with you, that's an important function of working. It's called respect for our country. They were fighting for our country. They were fighting for our flag. They were fighting for our national anthem. And for people to disrespect that by kneeling during the playing of our national anthem, I think is disgraceful.
Disgraceful is when you as president has said nothing. You said nothing about police brutality, which is why they're protesting. I'm going to deal with that in a second. On Capitol Hill, there was a show of support for the NFL players. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of Houston took a knee on the House floor.
I kneel in honor of the First Amendment. I kneel because the flag is a symbol for freedom. I kneel because I'm going to stand against racism. I kneel because I will stand with those young men, and I'll stand with our soldiers, and I'll stand with America because I kneel. I yield back.
Well, guess who also kneeled? NBA Hall of Famer Bill Russell, wearing his Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's right, Bill Russell decided to take a knee there. And again, the basketball legend activist tweeted out this photo of himself on bended knee. And this is what his tweet said: proud to take a knee and to stand tall against social injustice. Meanwhile, a fire chief in Pennsylvania has been fired for calling Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin a nigger because of the team's decision. Yes, I don't say the word, and no one said the N-word, but no, y'all need to understand what this man said. He blasted the team's decision to stay in the locker room during the National Anthem. Cecil Volunteer Fire Station Chief Paul Smith posted on Facebook that Coach Mike Tomlin, quote, just added himself to the list of no good niggers. Yes, I said it. After criticism, Smith issued an apology on Facebook saying, quote, I am embarrassed at this. I want to apologize. I was frustrated and angry at the Steelers not standing for the anthem. This had nothing to do with my fire department. I regret what I said. Really? But the first thing you went to is nigger. Okay, gotcha. Well, the Steelers decided to sit out the national anthem. The Carolina Panthers did take the field and did not engage in an organized protest, but Panthers star defensive end Julius Peppers did, and he explained his decision. But also yesterday, folks, first of all, I'm going to play that in a second, but yesterday, the Carolina Panthers were so upset because their team owner, Jerry Richardson, who was the next to the last owner who issued a statement and said nothing about the protest, did not criticize Donald Trump, and what he did was say he's proud of the community work of his athletes. They said they wanted a meeting with him because they were angry with all of the restrictions he's placed on them. And those players said, hey, we want to do something, but you're not allowing us. Keep in mind, 2 Carolina Panthers last year did protest. Those 2 no longer with the team. Joining us now by phone, Bomani Jones. I say Bo, host of The Right Time with Bomani Jones. You can also catch him on ESPN. Bomani, here's what is most hilarious about all of this. I saw Jerry Jones' pathetic statement where he mentions team unity and equality. I look at, and you tweeted this morning, Emmanuel Sanders, a wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. A company out there that dropped one of the Denver Broncos last year for taking a knee, and they said, oh, we've talked to him, and he said this is a one-time thing, and he did it for team unity, sounding very scared of losing that particular endorsement. These folks don't give a damn about the issue. They sound like the people in the 30s and the 40s who are saying, yeah, I know we oppressing y'all black people, but still put that uniform on and go fight for America in World War II.
Yeah, like I think what the league managed to do over the course of the weekend was to hijack the whole demonstration, where this did start off with people talking about police brutality, and I thought the part, at least I thought, and I could be mistaken, the part that the league and everybody else was protesting, or at least should have been, was the idea that Trump said if you protest, you should be you should fire these guys. And so I thought there was a level of defiance necessary to show that he's not going to make the personnel decisions for the league. But no, the NFL and none of those people around have demonstrated anything behind this that indicates that they care about what the larger social cause is. And we've been diverted into this whole idea that somehow this is a protest of the national anthem, which is not the case. The national anthem is the backdrop, it's the context, but it provides a measure of context, but this is not why we're here. And now we're just kind of almost in a no man's land with this.
And what you're seeing, Bomani, what you're seeing, which is hilarious to me, oh, it's unity, it's unity, it's unity. But it's not. I mean, they literally don't want to take a stand calling out police who are brutalizing people, who are killing people, who are lying on police reports. They don't want to do that. They're playing this game. And look, the NFL, they're masters at PR.
Yeah, Peter Tosh, the great line always, everyone's crying out for peace, no one's crying out for justice. So it becomes very easy to talk about unity, because unity sounds a whole lot like, hey, man, calm down, baby, it's getting a little hot out here. But an actual dedication to the larger cause does not really seem to be there. Something I think that gets lost, too, is I believe it was last week where Michael Bennett and a few other players sent Roger Goodell a letter that was saying, look, we look forward to your support on these larger issues, like not just some ride-along or let's just, open some dialogue stuff. We look forward to more from you. We haven't heard anything back from Goodell or anybody else in the league about that, and this would have been the perfect time for them to do that. But the game is just to divert the discussion away from anything larger, and now it's become about we're going to stand together to show that our league is this, because talking bad about the NFL matters a lot more to them than anything else.
Because it's all about the shield.
That's it.
It's all about the shield. Last thing here, when you look at Jerry Richardson in Carolina, who basically, he said, all you Negroes, y'all better stay in line. This is my team. I own this. Then, of course, he says we must separate sports from politics. Okay, so is Jerry Richardson planning to stop inviting politicians to his suite? Will he not ask the city to fork over some money for improvements to his stadium? See, I love it how we love saying let's separate sports and politics until we need some politics in our sport.
Well, it's also let's erase sports from politics, but let's play the national anthem before every game. Like, I think that there's a fundamental discussion here that involves people believing that the national anthem is apolitical when it may be as a song if you choose to believe as such, but the decision to play it in the way that it's done is certainly not an apolitical decision. And with Jerry Richardson, he's a generally rigid man in ways that don't necessarily have to do with matters of race, but I also think that we forget that Jerry Richardson's the man who was in charge at Denny's when they got sued for all that stuff over 20 years ago. This Richardson, I was surprised got as far along with this as he did without putting out a statement, but he's absolutely saying, no, y'all gonna come out here and play some ball.
Absolutely.
Like, that is definitely his statement here. You just can't say that to Julius Peppers. It ain't that simple with that dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And thankfully, Julius Peppers had some courage, and it'd be nice for Cam Newton to show, because here's the deal. Ain't like Jerry gonna cut Cam.
The Cam world in Charlotte is a fascinating story that's in and of itself. I think the thing that makes it bad for Cam is he is simply not able to articulate the things that he does or does not want to say on this matter. Every time he talks about something like this, it turns into an outright disaster, and so he runs from anything that involves a discussion, and then he'll get out there and all lives matter it for you anyway, and then you just be like, what are you doing, man?
Last question for you. Sound like a Baptist preacher, last. Do you believe, Bomani, this is the time for the players, let's say those 4 players who issued a 10-page memo, to hold a news conference together to refocus on the actual issue, to say, wait a minute, y'all all discussing unity. Let's get back to the original issue. Because to me, that's what's there. I believe this is where Colin Kaepernick, who's a quiet guy, a shy guy, should make a strong public statement, because I think the players have to get this thing back to the issue and not allow another day to go by where it's all about NFL unity, don't criticize us. And in fact, I need some of these players to challenge these white players to say, if y'all don't want to stand with us on police brutality, at least call this man out who has no problem with y'all getting brain injuries.
Yeah, I agree that now is the time. Like, I felt like when you saw all the owners who then wound up taking a knee, and there's another discussion about how we can't limit this all to taking a knee, like if you do or don't can't be the ultimate measure of whether or not you care. But I do believe that when you see the owners doing that, it's like seeing your dad wearing the shoes that you wanted to get. Like, oh, man, this ain't cool no more. We got to figure out another way to do this. It's hard to be edgy wearing the same shoes as your daddy.
Not unless your daddy bought them. Bomani Jones, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Quickly, let's go to my panel. Ray Baker, host of Public Agenda Podcast. Angela Saylor, deputy to the chairman of the Gloucester Institute. Greg Carr, chair, Department of African American Studies at Howard University. Folks, this is very simple here. What you're seeing the NFL play the PR game. You're seeing, and I'm going to pull up in a second, Sports Illustrated with this unity cover, which is totally BS. Colin Kaepernick is nowhere on the cover. This is the game America has always played. Black folks, y'all tamp down. And so make this as comfortable for us to say something and you say nothing.
The reason that we find so many folks having conversations about kneeling, the anthem, unity, the respect for military is because by and large, so many white Americans are uncomfortable talking about issues like police brutality. By and large, so many white Americans are uncomfortable talking about how racism is baked into the macaroni and cheese that is the United States.
So, Angela, they want to be comfortable.
Yeah, and Roland, back to your point, this is a moment to get this discussion back on social injustice. And what's really fascinating to me is that we see where the power source and the source of influence in the black community is, where you've got athletes, you've got members of Congress, you've got Little League players. The whole community is coming together over this issue, but we've got to harness in back on
Absolutely.
social injustice.
Great.
Yeah, I was going to say, Donald Trump drove his owner buddies literally to their knees trying to stop a slave rebellion. We saw Bill Russell. What if those boys called in, and the women in the WNBA, called Colin Kaepernick in, and imagine what Bill Russell did when they brought Ali in, and then have a press conference surrounding him saying, we support what this brother is fine. You know, finally, people forget, let's talk about Puerto Rico, when the great all-star first baseman, Carlos Delgado, started protesting the national anthem because they were bombing Vieques. They came for him. This is all about them messing with their money. And if these cats at this moment took this and seized the high ground, you could see a sea change. And I'm just saying it may happen.
All right.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.